G'day guys, just Rob here again, just bringing another video, doing another sort of DVD Blu-ray update style video, just some films I sort of bought recently and sort of managed to find some time to watch. So I've got, I think it's 2 DVDs and 5 Blu-rays I think. Yeah, so let's get cracking. This is probably the second time I've sort of filmed this. I think it was a bit too long the first time, so I'll try and make it a bit shorter video. Anyway, we get cracking into it. So the first one I got is Animal Kingdom, which is like an Australian sort of crime movie, which is very sort of popular sort of genre in Australia at the moment. You know, you got the also sort of crime type movies. You also got the the TV series at the moment, Underbelly, which I think they've sort of made like probably 4 or 5 series of now. I'm getting a bit sick of all these sort of crime, type movies. That's like that. Other one too, I don't know what to call it, the one with the bikie gang in it, which is, I think it's a bit of a rip-off of the American one. What's that called? Anyway. Yeah, so Animal Kingdom. Yeah, so I'm sort of a bit sick of these sort of Australian crime type, underworld type movies. But this is actually one I actually really did enjoy though. I think I sort of started watching it and thought it was going to be, pretty awful, but she got really, especially at the end, towards the end, it got really sort of interesting. It's only a film that some people reckon it was really boring type film, but I didn't find it boring at all. I thought it was really sort of quite engrossing in some sort of scenes. It's got some, who's in it? Guy Pearce, Jackie Weaver. Essentially, I'll just quickly go through the storyline. It's about a sort of 17-year-old boy and his mother. So at the beginning of the film, she sort of dies of a drug overdose, and so he's sort of sent to sort of goes to live with his grandmother, his mum was trying to protect her from his grandmother because she's sort of the head of like a sort of a crime family type thing. So she was trying to keep her son away from that. But so he sort of goes to live with them, and I think sort of premise is one of the sort of sons I think he's like a really sort of successful, I suppose is the right word. I think he's like a bank robber, I think, or armed robber perhaps. Actually, police have sort of been trying to catch him for years and years, and so sort of coming to a bit of a head. And I think like the police are sort of basically got I assume there's like a bit of an ultimatum, I suppose. They've either got to sort of catch, or trying to either sort of catch him, or I think that's right. Either got to catch him and get a result, otherwise that sort of section of the police force is going to get closed down. Well, I think it might be getting closed down anyway, but they sort of want to, before it gets closed down, they want to sort of try and catch this guy. And so basically it sort of comes to a head, and there's sort of a bit of corruption in the police, and there's sort of I won't sort of spoil what happens, but there's a bit of something happens basically, so the family here sort of has to have a bit of revenge on the police, I suppose, and it sort of all goes downhill from there type thing. But yeah, definitely a really good movie. I thought, very well acted, and just a really good film, I thought, especially if you're sort of into these sort of Australian crime type movies. Very sort of popular when it came out, a big sort of hit from what I can remember. It's sort of why I bought it, bit of a blind buy. But definitely there's a lot of other good. There are some good sort of Australian crime movies. They got obviously the Chopper movie about Mark Chopper Reed. That's a great movie. I watched that quite a few times. Probably, I think it's been a year or two since I've seen it, but when I did sort of buy it, I sort of watched it, sort of repeatedly, with and without the sort of the auto commentary sort of playing in the background. There's another one called Getting Square. Not very well known, that one, with Timothy Spall in it, which is a really good Australian movie. I thought really good, sort of about a guy that sort of comes out of prison and tries to go straight, but he can't because his old mates are sort of want him to come and do like a one last heist type thing. Typical story, but it's actually a really good movie, I thought. Another one called Suburban Mayhem, which is based on the true story about the Belinda Van Krell murders, which is actually really interesting. If you want to read up on that, it's a very interesting sort of story, that one. Which actually sort of happened close to where I used to live. The story was that she sort of supposedly convinced her boyfriend to sort of kill her father for her, because he apparently was a really horrible man. He used to sort of abuse, her and her and her brother, you know, sort of sexual abuse, and she used to get drunk and hit him and stuff like that, supposedly. So she sort of convinces her boyfriend to, you know, sort of kill him for her type of thing. But yeah, definitely a great Australian movie, really into, you know, that sort of thing, and definitely wasn't a boring film, I didn't think. Anyway, so next one I got, it's a film I don't think I've ever seen before, and I really wanted to see, and I've had in my collection for, you know, too long, and I've really sort of bought sort of the cheap ass Chinese version of it. I got the original King Kong from 1933, which I might have seen before a long time ago, but I certainly can't remember that much of it. But this is actually really enjoyed this one. I actually thought this was a really good movie. A lot of people complain on the forums that it's, you know, not, you know, sort of the younger generation sort of complain that, oh, it's not that great of a movie, you know, sort of stuff. But it's not necessarily perhaps the, you know, the acting or the, you know, the characters to it. It's more the sort of the, you know, the stop motion effects of the, you know, the King Kong type thing, which is just, I think it's just fantastic. I don't necessarily, the movement isn't necessarily all that smooth and stuff, but the actual model itself is actually quite, you know, sort of hairy and sort of moving around, and, you know, very sort of menacing type sort of character. But yeah, I just thought it was a really good movie. Great, you know, it's got twos in it. Is it Fay Ray, Robert Armstrong, and Bruce Cabot? I just thought Fay Ray she was just really enchanting on screen. I thought, she was just a great sort of character. And, she, you know, the blonde. She's the blonde. But I mean, didn't necessarily get the storyline door with this one, but yeah, I thought it was actually a really good movie. Just sort of really on the, it's almost banging away. Really good, yeah. I was really back, like you're saying that, yeah, because Willis O'Brien did the stop motion effects. I think he's sort of inspired Ray. I can't remember his name now. Ray Eisenhower or something. He's like he's a real sort of famous stop motion animator. He did, like, you know, some of the stuff for the original Clash of the Titans movie, and I think even for the Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness movie. I think he did some of that as well, sort of stop motion type stuff, which is really, he's real sort of famous for that. Also says that the person that did the score, Jeremy Goldsmith, it sort of says that he created a template for Hollywood composers that is still being used today by, you know, popular you know, composers in films. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway. It also says on the back here that the original idea for the film was they were actually going to capture some live gorillas and actually sort of transport them to an island, the island of Komodo, which obviously has the big sort of giant Komodo dragon lizards, which is probably, I think, the biggest lizard, you know, in existence today, and sort of have the gorillas sort of fight them and sort of film it, I think. But apparently, you know, Willis O'Brien, the stop motion guy, he sort of came in as, you know, I want to try this new thing type thing. And yeah, so, but it's definitely, yeah, a really good movie, I thought. I actually wouldn't mind perhaps watching it again. I was trying to find I want to find the Blu-ray edition of this, but I looked pretty much everywhere online. I can only find it for, I think it was like $34, I think it's the cheapest I could find it, which I don't really want to pay that much for it. So if anyone's got perhaps a copy, or, you know, knows where there's a cheap copy on Blu-ray, I definitely wouldn't mind getting that. Yeah, so watch that. That's a really good one. Because I watched that, obviously. Got the Blu-ray. Got this a few months ago. I got I think it's 2005 Peter Jackson version, and watched that. Which I think I said before, I did sort of watch it at the cinema when it first came out, and wasn't necessarily all that impressed with it. It was, you know, special effects and, you know, enjoyable, sort of entertaining type movie, but yeah, I didn't think it was all that fantastic. Sort of watching it again, I still have the same sort of opinion to it. I don't think it's necessarily that great of a movie. I mean, it's a good movie, but the problem is that a lot of people sort of see it on the forums. That it's a way too long and very sort of overblown, and in some ways people say it's a bit sort of self-indulgent of Peter Jackson to make it. I mean, I just watched the theatrical version. That's like 3 hours long. I don't know how long the extended version is. I think, but what I understand, there's not much difference really between the two. I think just some of the action scenes are sort of extended out a bit longer in the extended cut. I think that's the only major sort of difference. But I mean, yeah, it's a good movie. Nice special effects to it, and Sort of follows the storyline of the original, you know, reasonably close. Only perhaps differences between the 1933 version and 1933 version and the 1976 version and this version is that there's a lot more bit more of a sort of love story, I suppose, between King Kong and Darren, the blonde. She sort of feels a bit sorry for the King Kong and so has a bit more of a I guess, I don't know, let's say a love relationship, I guess, between her and King Kong in the 76 version and this version. But in the first movie, she's really sort of scared of him and doesn't really want anything to do with him, type thing. Which sort of didn't mind that sort of aspect to it. I thought that was, especially the half an hour. That was actually probably the most enjoyable bit of the movie. I thought that when that sort of happened. Very sort of sad movie, I suppose, in terms of you know, King Kong. What can I say? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a good movie and enjoyable, and a lot of people say this is, you know, better than the 1933 version, but it's, yeah, I just think it should have been a lot shorter, and I mean, it's nice to sort of extend out some of these scenes, make them a little bit longer, and yeah, perhaps help with the storyline a little bit. But the only problem with that is you sort of, I mean, the first one obviously had, you know, plot holes in it, but because it was sort of a fairly, I think it was like an hour and 40 minutes, it was a very sort of relatively short movie. You didn't sort of notice the plot holes because you sort of swept on to the next scene. Whereas this one, every sort of scene sort of being you know, stretched out and made longer, and you sort of have time to process things more, and you sort of see that there's huge plot holes here and there. But yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. I just think I preferred the first version. Next one I got is a triple pack of Wolfgang Petersen's movies, sort of disaster type movies. You got Outbreak, Poseidon, yeah, just got Poseidon, and The Perfect Storm, which I actually really enjoyed. All three of these, I thought they were actually really good sort of disaster type movies. Outbreak I thought was reminded me a lot of the recent movie Contagion, yeah. Essentially about a sort of a monkey that's got like a sort of carrying like a deadly virus, and I think more deadly than the Ebola virus apparently. And you got, you know, Dustin Hoffman and Morgan Freeman, you know, basically trying to sort of stop this virus from spreading through the city type thing. And well, it's actually really good, really old style type sort of action type movie. Yeah, it's really good sort of movie. Probably a few potholes here and there, but it's, you know, reasonably really good sort of old style movie. Poseidon was probably one I sort of perhaps liked least out of the three. Essentially, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people already know about it, but it's essentially, you know, an ocean liner sort of capsizes from this huge freak wave, and it's about some survivors, I suppose. They're trying to sort of climb their way through the top of the, because the ship's sort of, you know, on its head now, sort of thing, flipped over, so they've got to try and, you know, climb up through the bottom to the bottom of the boat to sort of get out, so they don't sort of drown. Just about that and stuff, but just needed a bit more perhaps character development in it, and it wasn't too bad a movie though. I just thought it could have been a little bit better. Very much like I've never seen the James Cameron's Titanic movie, but it's definitely a sort of copy of that, and well, arguably a copy of that. I mean, I've never seen the original. Really, the 50s version of it, which I'm not sure what the storyline is actually, but there's a lot of sort of similar sort of, you know, like a stowaway on board and a bit of a sort of love story type thing, you know. But I mean, I think, yeah, sort of thing. I think Poseidon came out first before Titanic, obviously, or the James Cameron version. So anyway, whatever. Then you got Perfect Storm, George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, in it. Which I actually really enjoyed that one. Perhaps a little bit sort of perhaps cheesy and a bit sort of sentimental, I suppose. But based on a true story about these fishermen that go out to having a hard time trying to catch fish. They always come back with not near enough sort of fish, so they're desperate to sort of go out. They go out further to and they catch up this big sort of load of fish, and sort of on their way back, there's this big sort of hurricane sort of hits, and they've also got a choice basically. The freezer's broken. Conveniently, so they've got a choice to sort of either sort of sail off in the other direction and wait for this sort of storm to pass. But obviously they're going to lose their catch because the freezer's not working, so they can't sort of keep the fish. The fish are going to go off, type thing. Or they can sort of ride through the storm and try to make it to their destination, sort of thing. But yeah, it's basically a true story. And obviously these fishermen go out there and they sort of die. And the fishermen sort of go out there and they sort of die. So we're not really quite sure exactly what happened in this hurricane or what the storyline was. But so it's obviously a work of fiction. And I did sort of hear that the family of the dead men, they did some of them sued the actual makers of the movie. But I'm not quite sure exactly what the reasons were. But I think some of the George Clooney character was sort of portrayed as a bit of a hard ass and sort of pushing everyone to sort of go out further into sea to, pushing them through the storms, because obviously they want to keep their catch and make some money type thing, So I don't think it's quite true. I think from what I understand, I don't need to talk about much, but I've sort of have watched it recently. Fight Club. I haven't seen this one for years and sort of forgot. Well, I forgot, but it's definitely a great sort of rewatching it. I can definitely see it's a great movie, and everyone I can see why everyone loves it. Sort of a film about sort of obviously a consumer society, sort of having to buy flash. We sort of get status by sort of buying flashy cars and having nice expensive furniture, and this sort of film says, well, that's just crap. You don't need to have all these fancy things. You just need to live sort of day by day, and obviously you've got the fighting aspect to it. Sort of you don't know what you like in a fight, do you? Unless you're actually in one, and you tell a lot from yourself. By sort of stripping yourself down to bare bones, I guess, and type thing. I really sort of found it inspirational, I suppose, to a certain point. Sort of thinking about life differently, and sort of I don't know, roughing it a bit. I suppose you're sort of down your luck type thing, or having no money, or living in like a really crappy building. Then you sort of understand life a bit more, and understand a bit more of yourself, I guess. But definitely, great sort of atmosphere and great characters, very well acted, and I think probably the last half an hour, obviously have that big sort of twist, which I'll probably won't say because no one's sort of seen the movie, but I think after that sort of twist, the film just sort of go downhill a little bit. It doesn't sort of make, not all that coherent, I don't think. It's sort of, some of the storyline sort of falls apart, I think, a little bit, I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely a good sort of movie. Film I've always wanted to see. GoodFellas, which I think I might have seen perhaps a long time ago, but certainly can't remember it. I've also wanted to sort of see it. It's just a really good movie. Obviously, everyone says it's a good movie, so most cases it should be a good movie. Yeah, it's got Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci. Very sort of, I think, won a lot of awards. Martin Scorsese, or Scorsese, however you want to say it. 1990. I've sort of watched. I had to sort of compare this movie to other movies like Blow and American Gangster and Donnie Brasco. But I mean, obviously this one came out first. But I had to sort of, because I've sort of seen those other movies first, I had to sort of compare it to this one. I think this is definitely probably one of the better sort of ones. That sort of genre type thing. Definitely, I think it had a bit of, obviously had a bit of film grain on it, and which I think is always good, because I sort of find, especially say a film like LA Confidential, especially on Blu-ray, it's really sort of really clear, and it's, I don't know, it's a bit too. I mean, it was a movie sort of set perhaps in 1950s or whatever it's set. It's all the actors have all got these sort of brand new hats on, sort of clean clothes, and I mean, it sort of seems a bit too shiny and a bit too fake in some ways. But this has got a bit more grain to it, it's a bit more gritty, I think. So you can sort of, there's a bit more realism, I suppose, to the movies. But yeah, that's definitely a good one. Last one I got is I think it's called Dirty Pretty Things, which I think is actually, it stars Audrey Tautou, but I don't think it's necessarily not a foreign film. And she sort of speaks English in this one. She doesn't sort of speak French. Which actually reminded me a lot of the TV show called Hotel Babylon, which I think sort of came out after this movie. I'm not sure if perhaps the TV show was perhaps inspired by this. This is a film that I sort of wanted to watch, obviously because I'm a huge Audrey Tautou fan, and I wanted to sort of see all the films. I think it was Sean from the Media Site. I think he was sort of talking about this movie, and I sent him a comment saying, I really want to sort of see that one, and I think he might have even offered to perhaps to send me a copy of it. But I said, nah, it's right, I'll pick up a copy. I think it was it was only like $13. I think I got it reasonably cheap. One of the moments I hadn't picked it up because it was pretty expensive wherever it was, whenever I saw it. This is this actually pretty good. It wasn't perhaps necessarily quite as good as I thought it was going to be. Perhaps I need to watch it again, perhaps to get a bit better opinion of it. Actually, it's about sort of Olive Tattoo and I wasn't bother to try to pronounce the guy's name. I'll put a little annotation perhaps of his name. I'm not going to bother to try and pronounce it. There's sort of two immigrants sort of working in London in like a big sort of flash London hotel. I think she's like called like a chambermaid, and he's like a sort of he sort of works on the front desk sort of thing. Let's say what his actually title is. Doesn't say. I think he's from like Nigeria. I think she's from Turkey. She's got like a Turkey, well, like a Turkey sort of accent to it. Basically, the premise is that he sort of finds a sort of human heart in the sort of flush down one of the toilets, and he sort of finds there's a bit of conspiracy going, a bit of an organ, money, black market organ transport type thing going on in the hotel. You sort of get down to the bottom of it. But it definitely, it was a really good movie. Only problems I thought I had, there's no sort of subtitles. I mean, I understand it's all in English, but I still wanted to hear. I think sometimes you need to sort of read subtitles so you can sort of get the. So you can because I couldn't hear some of the dialogue to it. I sort of think I perhaps missed some of the storyline to it, which is perhaps why I didn't perhaps enjoy it as much. So yeah, really need to have subtitles. I think that would have made it a bit better for me at least. But apart from that, yeah, this is a good sort of movie. I definitely want to watch it again, get a bit more opinion on it. Thanks for watching. Want some comments below? That'd be great. I should be perhaps making I want to perhaps make a few more videos soon. I just got to get around to it and get that done. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.